Hello, welcome back to the Elated Real Estate Channel. This is part two of how sellers price their home. So today we're going to be talking about neighborhood sales, and so how you might look at that as a way to price your home, and certainly you want to let your real estate professional, your listing agent know if you have market information, maybe that's something that's sold off market or sold between two family members or something like that. But let's dive into what a neighborhood pricing your home with neighborhood market information, some of the things that you could look at. Remember, there are three more parts to this series. This is part two of four. There's going to be the market knowledge for neighborhood sales, and we're going to cover that today. Then we're going to talk about the AVM, or automated valuation methods. And then last, we're going to talk about, I'm going to walk through the way I would do comparables. We're going to go through that. So today we're talking about market knowledge from neighbor sales. So some of the things that you would want to use for market knowledge. First and foremost, it needs to maintain a specific radius relative to the subject property. Meaning, if you find something that's generally an appraiser would say beyond a mile, now that can vary greatly in a rural area or say an area with far less homes. Homes with larger lots, that can vary in that way. But you're definitely going to want to maintain a specific radius relative to the subject property. In Atlanta and the greater Atlanta area, for the most part, the rule of thumb is a mile or less away. And so people would say maybe that's as the crow flies, so a radius, a direct line to that other subject, comparable property from the subject property. So generally you want to be within a specific radius that would be an acceptable radius for an appraiser to use for that area. So that's number one. That's the first thing. The second concept I want to cover is, of course, it would have similar size square footage, similar lot size as well, and then similar other features like home of a similar age, similar condition. Maybe if you're in even homes that are very close together in two different school districts can vary greatly in value. So if you're in greater Atlanta, for instance, some schools are very different, but very close together. And so based on that high school, you might have differences in value, depending on the desirability and the score of that school. So that's the second part. And then of course, fit and finish, like if a home's finished with very high-end appliances or very high-end trim or very high-end other features, certainly things like that. Other attributes, maybe homes with basements, of course, would be more expensive than homes without basements, things like that. And then sort of the lot size we talked about, but then also the where the lot is. Maybe you've got a lot that's a lakefront lot, and that would be clearly different than a home that was not on the same lake, on the same street even. So, and then the last thing that might go into your pricing from the neighboring sales that you have to consider, and this would be true in every pricing scenario, is the current market conditions, including but not limited to current market interest rates or mortgage rates, and then other economic conditions like supply and demand or employment and things like that. So hopefully this has been a helpful part two, and I hope you'll tune in for parts 3 and 4. Thanks for tuning in to the Elated Real Estate